You know a lot about golf.
Well, we're waiting.
And the wait for another week is over. We are those weekend golf guys. Thanks for joining us this weekend. I'm John Ashton in studio. Jeff Smith at the Plain and Simple Golf School, live from the Golf Cave at Otter Creek in Columbus. And Jeff, what are you going to fix this week?
You know, we got a guy that wants to shave 5 strokes off his game. You know, we're going to do it just by kind of analyzing what he's doing and where he's losing his strokes. We're going to work on only what he needs.
And he's going to do it by Thursday.
You got it.
That's it, guaranteed. We're also going to talk about golf balls, which ones you need, which ones you can afford, which ones you should use, and which ones you can afford to lose. It's all coming up in those weekend golf guys. Hang out. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Don't you move.
Hi, this is Morgan Freeman. Has anyone ever said, you're the picture of health? You look healthy, you feel fine, but that may not be the full picture. Colorectal cancer is the second leading cancer killer of men and women over 50. Since it doesn't always cause symptoms, you may not know you have it. The only way to know is by getting screened. Screening can find precancerous polyps, so they can be removed before they turn into cancer. This is one cancer you can prevent. Plus, screening can find colorectal cancer at an early stage when the chance for a full recovery is very high. Talk with your doctor and get tested for colorectal cancer. Medicare and many insurance plans help pay for screening. Get screened. Make sure you are the picture of health.
A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
They just told us right away that we're going to house you, we're going to feed you, and every single one of his medical bills is just all taken care of.
They've saved my family from financial ruin. It allowed me and my wife both to focus on the most important thing, which was the health and well-being of our son.
We have phenomenal research, outstanding clinical care, and the generosity of public, which allow us to treat patients regardless of what it takes. And that's what makes St. Jude so magical.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, families never receive a bill for treatment, travel, housing, or food, because the only thing a family should worry about is helping their child live.
Doctors send us the toughest cases to be treated at St. Jude, and our patients come from all over the world.
When we come here, they told me, don't worry, everything's been taken care of.
We could never repay St. Jude for what they've given us.
Because of you.
Gracias a ti.
Because of you.
There is St. Jude.
And we are those weekend golf guys. Thanks for hanging with us here. John Ashton in studio. Jeff Smith live from the Golf Cave at Otter Creek up in Columbus. And have you downloaded the app yet? You're going to hear this ad nauseum, but we want to see those numbers go up. We want to see that app, that free app in your hand, so you can listen to us on your Android or your iPhone at your convenience, not necessarily on ours.
Anywhere, anytime.
Anytime. And
doesn't matter where you got the internet, you're somewhere in the world, you can listen to those weekend golf guys because we got the app.
That's it. Get the app, put it on your phone, and get ready to go. You know, Jeff, last week on our local show here in Louisville on Sunday, we were live out at a golf course.
Valley View.
Yeah, Valley View Golf Club. Yeah. It was really nice. And one of the things they were talking about is they're having like their amateur tournament. One of the things that I mentioned during that, and I've talked to you a little bit about, is now that I have worked really hard and the game has improved, and I've talked to a few of our guests that we've had on here and gotten some of the mental stuff taken care of.
Wait a second. I got to stop you. I know that I heard it, and I know that our listeners heard it, but I also know our intrepid producer Mark heard it.
Mm-hmm.
You just said, I've worked really hard.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah, you know me better than that, don't you?
Now, producer Mark is chuckling his face off in the background.
Doesn't playing golf 3 times a week count as working really hard on your game? That's how I've been justifying it to me, man.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha.
Let's go.
Right, just making sure we're talking about that from a guy who couldn't spell practice.
Practice. That's it. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I will admit, I still don't go to the range and hit the same shot over and over and over again. I consider golf to be practice because I don't have time to do both. I may go on a slow day and hit 2 balls. I may even go on a crowded day and hit 2 balls as long as no one saw me hit the first one.
But you got your 2 in, whether you like it or not.
That's it. But we digress, which we do so well. That's why we do it so often. I have seriously been thinking about competing. Because, one of my problems has always been the nerves of playing under pressure.
Because you put pressure upon yourself unduly.
Yeah. I mean, even on Sunday, there were 3 of us. And just as we were about to tee off, this one guy showed up all alone. I just asked him, I said, "You alone?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Come on." And had no qualms whatsoever about playing with somebody I didn't know.
You've come a long way.
Yes, I have. So now I'm about to make that leap into the area of competition.
That's got to be exciting for you to think that
it is
willing to do that.
But I do know that it comes with a downside. And the downside is that playing golf 3 times a week is not going to count as practice.
It's not.
That I'm going to have to do something to work on it. So for me and for the benefit of all who maybe, headed to their club championship or the city championship or, playing in some sort of a competition, what kind of a routine would you suggest going through to get ready for that?
Well, I tell you, as I work with a lot of people who do compete. And one of the biggest things that we do in learning who the person is figuring out how do they view competition to begin with? Because some people just live for it, and they don't put too much pressure on themselves because they're eating it up. Okay? Right. They want to be there. Like, for example, my guy Tyler Duncan from Columbus, Indiana, who played in the U.S. Open. He's on the web.com tour. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, last week he did pretty well for himself, finished tied for 3rd, won some good bit of cash. Cool. He lives for competition.
Right.
He was talking to us a little bit back in U.S. Open time, and said, "Look, I'm not nervous. I want to be here. This is where I belong."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But some people don't view it that way at all.
No.
Some people view it as, I'm too nervous. I can't believe somebody talked me into signing up. And I'm about to have a little aneurysm before this thing happens,
Which can defeat you right from the start.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you're headed toward your city championship, your club championship, even if it's a scramble, and all of a sudden you're trying to put too much pressure on yourself, you got to realize nobody else out there is really caring about what you shoot. As a matter of fact, they're all kind of hoping you don't even play that well because they're playing in the same event. And they're hoping that they can look better if you stink it up. So you got to know that right away. Right. It isn't that people are always looking at you to judge you, although you think that. They're hoping that you don't play all that well so that they can get over their nerves and maybe look better as a result. So just know that right away. And then secondly, you got to know you're going to go home at the end of the day, and it isn't this is your recreation, it's your game, it's your fun, that because this is not your job, you shouldn't be trying to make it your job. So if you don't really just live for the competition but are in one, you've got to realize that you're just still trying to do your best all the time anyway, but don't try to put any extra pressure on yourself to perform in score. So I shift people's attention to the shot that's in front of you each and every time, as opposed to the outcome, especially the score outcome of a hole. Because the people that always freak out because they made a big number on a hole, maybe they double bogeyed the first hole and their brain starts to screech a little bit. Mm-hmm. And they go, "Oh my gosh, well, I can't break 40 now because now I need to make 2 birdies to make up for that. And it's only the second hole and I can't make 2 birdies." You see, they always put themselves in that mental toilet, really.
And that's one reason why I'm interested in competing in match play tournaments, not stroke play, because you can blow up on one hole and it only counts against you one, and you don't have to make up anything but one, which is pretty easy. We're going to be talking about practice tip. We've got a guy who's going to shoot 5 strokes less this year because he's doing what Jeff's telling him to do. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about golf balls. Which ones do you need? Which ones can you use? Which ones can you afford to lose? And a lot more when we come right back. We are those Weekend Golf Guys, powered by Golf Talk America. Don't you move.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-4030. That's 1-800-616-4030. Again, 1-800-616-4030. Call now.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-554-4183 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 800-554-4183 to take your call now. Call 800-554-4183. That's 800-554-4183. Again, 800-554-4183.
Raising kids can be tough these days. As a parent, you've got your hands full making sure your kids have what they need to stay healthy and get the care they need when they're sick. Well, now there's help. Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance Program offer free or low-cost health insurance for kids and teens, all the way up to age 19. They can get regular checkups, immunizations, doctor and dentist visits, hospital care, mental health services, prescriptions, and more. Children in a family of 4 earning up to $47,700 a year or more may qualify, and parents may be eligible for Medicaid too. It's a helping hand for parents with their hands full. For more information, go online to insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. That's 1-877-543-7669. Enrollment is open year-round, but why wait? A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
And those weekend golf guys are back. John Ashton in studio. Jeff Smith at the Plain and Simple Golf School at Otter Creek in the Golf Cave. And Jeff, you know, thoseweekendgolfguys.com. Click on the tab. Jeff's Quick Fix, and we get email, we get mail, we get people who are like, help me.
Yeah, we get people throwing me stuff on Facebook too. It's awesome.
It is, isn't it? And you can get us facebook.com/golfguys, or you can even tweet us if you want to. It's just at WKND Golf Guys. Got one that I found to be quite intriguing. Guy wants to be able to this year, at the end of this year, to have at least an average 5 strokes less than his average score was last year. And what he wanted to know is which parts of the game, since, you know, he's not a pro, he's not retired, he's got to work for a living. So he can't go out and practice a lot. But he just wants to know, during the limited practice time he has, which elements of his game, were he to improve, would most quickly get him that 5-stroke reduction in average score.
Oh, that's easy. I get that question from a lot of my students because I have the average clientele is the majority of my students. They have a job. You know, they want to come out and they'd like to put some effort into their game, but they don't want to put too much effort, but they still like to get better. And, you know, they want to take their 90 down to 85.
Right.
That would make them feel pretty good about what's going on. Okay. 90 is not such a good feeling. 85, much better feeling for those guys.
Right.
So how can they really get better? Just by spending a little bit of time on their game. So I sit down and I talk to them. I say, okay, let's go analyze what happens and where you are on the golf course. Let's just draw it up on a piece of paper. Where are you all the time? When you play this golf course, what's happening? Is it your tee shot that's getting you in trouble? And the answer is either yes or no. Is it the tee shot that's just not far enough to get you on the green on your next shot? And that's a yes or no. And then is it your approach to the greens? Do they ever hit the green? Yes or no. And then if the answer is no, then the answer is, the next question is, how many times do you miss a green that you're in position to get it up and down? And then do you ever get it up and down? And then we start looking at that, and we just go, just from a basic general analysis of how they play the game, I get right to where we got to go first. And for many people, it's the first shot of every hole.
Mm-hmm.
They want to hit the greens, and the only thing holding them back is they're having to punch it out of the trees. They might be long enough. You know, they're playing a lot of par fours that are in the 340 to 375 yard range.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they can hit it 210 to 230 off the tee.
Right.
In distance.
Yeah.
That's plenty of distance.
Yeah.
But they're always punching out. So we start working on the accuracy of their tee shot, and the answer is solved because they've just got more accurate. So they're stopping from punching out of the trees, and then the next shot is they can have a chance to hit more greens. We've just taken away a punch-out shot 12 times around.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing you know, they're a whole lot better because they're no longer punching out. But that also means that they're punch-out shots, because many punch-out shots you're actually punching out forward as well.
Right.
And so you're hitting a shorter club into the green for your third shot than you would be on your second shot. So then what happens is they miss more greens. You know, so instead of, you know, hitting a punch-out shot where you gain about 60 yards and then you hit a short iron into the hole, you're 60 yards further back because you actually hit the fairway. But now all of a sudden you've got, you know, maybe you got your 5-iron in your hand and you don't hit greens with 5-irons.
Right.
So your third shot is actually right next to the green as opposed to 100 yards out. And then we start working on the third shot of the pitch it on and see if you can pitch it to a place where you can two-putt for sure. And then all of a sudden things get easier.
Yeah.
So we work on the short shot and we work on the tee shot. And instantly their game's 5 strokes better. No questions asked.
Okay.
But you got to analyze your own game.
Yeah, well, the problem is if you go through that litany of questions with me and also with Mark, intrepid producer Mark, the answers would not be yes or no. It would be sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes,
like
yeah. Sometimes I'm in the woods. Okay, off the tee, Mark is never in the woods. Mark is so obnoxiously in the middle of the fairway that I've seriously considered not inviting him to come play with me anymore. But he's short.
That's right. He doesn't hit it far enough.
So he still is looking at a long shot into the green.
Right. So we're going to work on that shot with him.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to work on how good that long shot is, and we're going to work on his short game, his third shot. So his second and third shots are where I'm going to focus, because there's a real reason that some people are only as long as they are. But realistically, if they're not going to be able to change, you know, how strong they are, how fast they can really move the club, if they're really not going to put a bunch of time into it, the time I'm going to put into it, I'm going to work on how close can you get the second shot and how close can you get the third shot.
Right.
That'll get you 5 shots. Yet we haven't even talked about putting yet.
No, we haven't.
You know, out of all that stuff, it's always about getting there, right?
It is.
Because that's the part that makes the most sense to people when they go play. Because the frustrating part of golf to them is the embarrassment of, I'm never long enough to get to the greens, or it takes me 3 strokes to get on the greens. Why the hell are you talking to me about putting?
Yeah, and everybody else is up there waiting for me, and it's...
Exactly. They want to hit the ball better because that's what makes them feel better about themselves as golfers. But if I ask these questions and they say, hey, that's all pretty good, I'm pretty decent at this, pretty decent at this, and pretty decent at that, I'm just a terrible putter, then that's where we're going.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm going to focus on the things that cost you the most strokes during your play. But most of the people that I work with, the thing that costs them the most frustration is how they strike the ball and how cleanly they hit it, how straight they hit it, and how good they hit a short game shot.
Okay.
Most of the people, I'm not saying I'm not a putting teacher, because I am. I use the putting stroke teacher on almost every one of my clinics.
Right.
And I love that thing. It's incredible. And I get them aiming better. I use the aim point reading. I do all those things. But the truth is that from the golfer's perspective, what they want and what they see causing them more stroke and more anguish on the golf course, it's how they strike the golf ball. So we're going to work on that.
I don't know. Maybe I'm mistaken because I don't watch thousands of people every week like you do. But I would think that hitting from the fairway with an iron is more difficult for most people to do correctly, most amateurs to do correctly than to hit a decent drive off the tee?
Oh, I'd say that's 50-50.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I see an awful lot of people who are pretty decent with irons off of short grass. Not terrific, but pretty decent, who are not even close to pretty decent with their tee shot. You, John, are a little bit of an exception to that because
I am exceptional, period, man.
Because you've become not only pretty decent with your irons, but at the very same time, better than pretty decent with your tee shots.
Yeah, except for last Sunday, man. I couldn't hit one straight to save my life. I know what I was doing wrong in retrospect, but I couldn't, it didn't dawn on me on Sunday, which is really frustrating when you go, oh, now I know what I was doing.
Got that feeling on the way home in the car?
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that so maddening?
It was terrible, man. It was terrible. Of course.
Most people, it always happens when it all comes together on the last two holes.
Yeah. Well, I had to leave early. Maybe the last two holes I could have pulled it off.
Maybe that's what it was.
But
it's
whatever.
Just time.
Probably is. But anyhow, so figure out where you're having the most trouble and work on that. I mean, that makes perfect sense in the long run when you stop to think about it. But, hey, we don't have time to play golf, so who has time to stop to think? We are those weekend golf guys, powered by Golf Talk America, and we've got a lot more coming up. We're going to talk about some golf balls, what you need and what they do, coming up in just a bit. Hang with us.
Now there's a martini that improves your driving. The new Martini Golf Tee actually gives you longer, straighter drives compared to old-fashioned wood tees. It's virtually unbreakable, made in the USA, and conforms with USGA rules. Get yours today at martinigolftees.com. So improve your driving with a martini. The Martini Golf Tee. Visit martinigolftees.com.
Jeff, I was out Monday with Joseph, my 10-year-old, and we both were having the same problem, man. Just missing. I mean, trying to read the green, and the ball breaks, you get the line, and it stops 2 inches before you get to the cup.
Missed it by that much.
Or it scoots by on the left or the right by a hair and moves on.
The hard thing there is getting your stroke to go where you're aimed. People, they do some hand twisting, their arms move around, but not the people that come see me in my clinics. We start the putting with the putting stroke teacher. We get them on there. Their forearms are nice and level. The putting stroke teacher fits right on their putter. And next thing you know, they're draining putts. And they're looking at this going, this is the easiest thing I've ever seen.
Nice. I tried it and it worked.
Well, if it works for her,
that's right.
It's going to work for anybody.
6 straight putts in a row.
As I say, I got to get me one of these.
That's right.
What is it? The Putting Stroke Teacher, TPSteacher.com.
TPSteacher.com. Yeah, TPSteacher.com. Got to get one of those things, man. They're easy.
They just told us right away that we're going to house you, we're going to feed you, and every single one of his medical bills is just all taken care of.
They've saved my family from financial ruin. It allowed me and my wife both to focus on the most important thing, which was the health and well-being of our son.
We have phenomenal research, outstanding clinical care, and the generosity of public, which allow us to treat patients regardless of what it takes. And that's what makes St. Jude so magical.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, families never receive a bill for treatment, travel, housing, or food, because the only thing a family should worry about is helping their child live.
Doctors send us the toughest cases to be treated at St. Jude, and our patients come from all over the world.
When we come here, they told me, don't worry, everything's been taken care of.
We could never repay St. Jude for what they've given us.
Because of you.
Gracias a ti.
Because of you.
There is St. Jude.
Raising kids can be tough these days. As a parent, you've got your hands full making sure your kids have what they need to stay healthy and get the care they need when they're sick. Well, now there's help. Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance Program offer free or low-cost health insurance for kids and teens, all the way up to age 19. They can get regular checkups, immunizations, doctor and dentist visits, hospital care, mental health services, prescriptions, and more. Children in a family of 4 earning up to $47,700 a year or more may qualify, and parents may be eligible for Medicaid too. It's a helping hand for parents with their hands full. For more information, go online to insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. That's 1-877-543-7669. Enrollment is open year-round, but why wait? A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
And we are those weekend golf guys, but you should know that by now. Have you downloaded the free app yet? You can get it at Google Play for your Android device. You can get it from the App Store in iTunes for your iPhone. Absolutely free, and you can listen to us on your own time, not on our time. Hey,
we're just that cool Spreaker app that we have?
Yeah, we're just trying to make it totally convenient for everybody. So it's really cool. Really cool. John Ashton here in studio. Jeff Smith, that was the voice you heard button in there live from the Golf Cave at Otter Creek.
Good job, button in.
That's it, and you do it well, buddy. We need to talk about golf balls because I've been in the media business in the advertising industry for eons, right? Forever.
Well, I usually say eons, and then you usually come back with, "Hey, now, come on, give me a break."
Well,
you started off with the eon.
Yeah, I'm going to own it.
It's okay. I'm off the hook on this one.
But one thing that happens when you're involved in that business is you tend to become you have very high resistance to hype.
Yeah.
And I watched golf on TV, and every golf ball company in the world is going to tell me that their ball is longer than the other guys. And then I go out to the driving range here in town, and the pro out there says, "John, you got to try these, man. They don't even show up on the compression meter. This is so low compression. This is going to be the best ball you ever hit." And that's a Wilson, what do they call, duo. Okay?
Yeah.
Which I like. All right? And I was in a position the other day. I went out to play golf on Sunday right after we did our local show here in Louisville. And we were playing at a very nice course. And I had left a brand new dozen golf balls at home, which was, not real good because I had 2 sleeves, or actually a sleeve and a half in my bag. Okay, I had 3 golf balls total for 18 holes. And you've seen me play. You know that that's questionable. Okay?
The real question is, what kind of position were you really in? I mean, were you like upright, or were you in like downward dog position? Yoga thing, or what are we talking about here? Because, you're drawing a visual here, and I'm not sure I want it.
So I found a Pro V1. I'm going, yes, the golf gods are smiling upon me. They knew I was a little short, and I was playing with, Bridgestone B330s. I love those.
Good ball.
I really like that ball. Okay. And I found a Pro V1 and I found a Callaway. One of the new Callaway Diablos or something that starts with a D. I didn't really pay much attention because it was free. I just played it.
Right.
Picture this. Now, I hit about a 230-yard drive on a 409-yard par 4. All right. So
wow.
You do the math. Right. I was still like I was still like 170, 175 away. That's normally
it's a pretty good poke, right?
Yeah. It was a pretty good poke. That's right. And that 175 yarders though is between my 5-iron and my 4 hybrid. One's 170, the other one's like 180. So I opted for the 4 because I didn't want to be short, and I hit perfectly. And hit the green, bounced twice, and rolled over. Ooh, so I'm chipping back. Now, I was doing this with the Pro V1. That was the ball that I was using on this particular hole. And so I had to chip up to the cup, right? I was about 4 feet off the surface, the putting surface, and the pin was like 8 feet from the edge of the rough where I was. So it was about 12 feet away. I took my sand wedge, set up the way I have been instructed by the inimitable Jeff Smith.
I'm not even sure what that word means, but it sounded good.
Means one of a kind, brother, one of a kind. Hit the shot. It hit the green, bounced once, bounced the second time, checked up, and stopped about 12 inches past the cup. Now, I said to myself, I have either A, learned how to chip perfectly in the last 15 seconds, or the Pro V1 actually does what people say it does. That it's much better around the green.
It is much better around the greens. I got to tell you. The golf balls do make a difference if you want spin around the greens. Now, there's a lot of people out there, and they're playing the go far balls.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is the go far balls, they think they go farther off the tee. They really don't. They're all right there at that overall distance standard, all the really good balls.
Yeah.
But the stop balls, the Pro V1s and the Chrome Soft and those really good golf balls, the ones that cost you $3, $4, $5 a piece, something like that.
$50 a dozen balls. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Guess what? They save you a bunch of strokes. because when you do chip it and you get it near the hole, they do check up. You could hit, one of those other, rock balls. I mean, the go-far balls with the exact same amount of force, with the same down angle, with the same club and the same grooves and all that stuff. It does not react the same at all.
Right. Okay.
And that one would have just kept on going, and you'd have had a 20-footer.
Mm-hmm. And that's usually what happens to me.
So, lesson learned. Taught you how to chip, but now you learned a lesson about why you play certain golf balls. Now, here's a thought. Some people go, it's too expensive of a golf ball. My first question to people is, do you lose a lot of golf balls? And the ones, when the answer comes back, no, I really only lose, maybe one around. I'm like, then you better play this other ball. And they're like, well, I don't want to lose a $5 golf ball. I said, would you pay $5 to have a score that was 5 shots, 6 shots better, and on top of your green fees? If you knew that the ball was going to help you. Oh, yeah, I'd do it every time. Then why are you still playing the rock ball?
Yeah.
It's really that simple.
Because you walk through the aisle at Big Box Golf Store and they're 3 dozen for $12.99. That's why.
That's right. Plus 10 shots.
Yeah.
That's the thing they don't ever put on that sign. That's the difference. If they would start to advertise golf balls in the plus or minus shot category on the sale sign, they'd even sell more Pro Vs. Now, and that's the number one selling golf ball in the country.
You don't have to give up distance with a soft ball, do you? I mean, a Pro V1
no.
is going to go just as far off the tee as your Pinnacle is, isn't it?
That's right. But what the difference is that you have so much more control over the flight of your golf ball when it hits the ground than you do with the rock balls.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk just about the Pro V because I don't want people to think, oh, Jeff, he's on staff with Titleist, so he's always a Titleist guy, blah, blah, blah. Okay, go out and play the Callaway Chrome Soft, and you'll find out the same stinking thing. Go play the Srixon's got a great golf ball out there, too. Bridgestone, the B330, that's a great golf ball, too.
Yeah.
So I'm not just sitting out there throwing out the Titleist Pro V1, but it's the best one. But anyway, you go play those golf balls and find out how much better your control over your iron shots are, your control around the greens, and what you can do.
Yeah.
It's really cool that you hit the shot you hit. You chipped it beautifully.
I did.
And it checked up.
It
stopped near the hole. And you know what it reminded you of?
What?
Other than when you play with me?
What?
Is that the guys on TV do that, and you just did what they did.
I know. Even Mark saw it. You should have seen the incredulous look on Mark's face. Intrepid producer Mark, when he saw it, he was kind of like, and who are you again?
Right. How'd that happen?
Exactly. Bet you couldn't do that twice, but I did do it twice during a round. I did.
I had a couple shots. As you know, last week I was in the Carolinas and I played golf with my daughter. And we were playing at some fantastic golf courses. Tobacco Road was the one we finished on. We played 36 holes there. Not in the same day. We had to go back the next day. We loved it so much. Anyway, the last hole at Tobacco Road, I made what I think is kind of an unbelievable par after one horrendous-looking tee shot. Yes, it was awful.
Okay.
It started down the middle, and it wound up about 50 yards left into the pine trees.
Big wind came up, huh?
What's that?
A big wind came up, huh?
Yeah, a hook wind. Had a whole lot of spin. So I was in jail, and I punched it out toward the green some, and I have to get it up and down for par from about 90-some yards. And the pin's on the front of the green, and I can barely get to it. And I'm right at the outer limits of my sand wedge at about 90 yards to the flag. And I hit it, and I hit it hard, and I hit it right at the flag, and it bounced 3 inches behind the hole, took one hop, and stopped. And my daughter looked at me, and she said, I've never seen one quite that good under pressure as what I just saw that shot. I've seen you hit tons of shots with a lot of spin on that stop, but I've never seen you hit it that well, and it stopped one bounce and stopped dead. She said, that looks exactly like what happened on television. She said, what did you do? How did you hit that shot? And I said, well, first, take a look at the golf ball, and second, I got new grooves on my wedges.
Translation, I cheated.
No. I did not illegally obtain grooves on my wedges. It's just the new wedges.
New wedges. All right.
New grooves.
Well, let's talk about
it stops.
We'll talk a little more about spin and balls and groovy stuff on your wedges and elsewhere when we come right back. We are those weekend golf guys, powered by Golf Talk America. Don't you move.
Get $70 off your new high heat driver. KnuthGolf.com, KNUTH Golf.com for all the details.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-554-4183 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 800-554-4183 to take your call now. Call 800-554-4183. That's 800-554-4183. Again, 800-554-4183.
All right, I'm going to tell you something right now that you don't want to hear, but you're going to listen very close. You can spend $199, $299, $399. You could spend $1,050 on a new driver, and it's not going to help. Like I said, you don't want to hear that because you go, oh, my goodness, I just spent all this money. Now, a lesson? Now, that could help. But these drivers that are designed to give you more yardage and straighter, they're all designed for pros. They're designed so amateurs can use them, but they are designed for pros, for very good golfers, which most of us ain't. Maybe you don't want to hear that either. But here's what you can do. High heat drivers. Mark, our intrepid producer, uses one, has improved his game immensely. I use one. It's improved my game immensely. Even Jeff uses one. You can't get any better than it was. High heat. Go to KnuthGolf.com and get one. Tell them you heard it from us, and you'll get $70 off with a money-back guarantee. Check it out, KnuthGolf.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-4030. That's 1-800-616-4030. Again, 1-800-616-4030. Call now.
And those weekend golf guys, John Ashton here, Jeff Smith up at the Golf Cave at Otter Creek in Columbus, Indiana, and playing Simple Golf School up there. And Jeff, we were talking about the golf balls and how actually some of the hype for the more expensive models actually works. My question was, and just in case you just found us here, I was telling Jeff about hitting a chip and hitting it perfectly and using a Pro V1 and watching it hit the green, bounce, and then check up, just like it's supposed to, which doesn't happen a lot when you're using the Top Rocks and other kind of balls. But is that just the ball, or was it just a combination of everything coming together? The ball hitting it right, the grooves being cleaned, the lie being perfect, the swing being, with a bad swing, would it have done as well? And with that same good swing, another ball wouldn't have reacted as well?
You're correct on all those sentences and questions.
That's very frustrating.
It is a combination of all those things. However, clean grooves, yes, important stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. The right ball, yes, important stuff. Because the rock ball, even with a the shot struck exactly the same. Same speed, same angle of attack. The down angle that you're swinging at.
Yeah, all that.
And the same grooves. You could put all that stuff together and just substitute golf balls real fast, and the golf ball will be the difference. Okay. However, in your question about, well, what if I don't put that same swing on it? What if I come in just too steep or too shallow or chunk it a little bit? Is it still going to spin? It'll spin more than the other one, but it isn't going to, do its magic unless it's struck very well. So let's keep in mind that you still have to perform.
So
it's
getting
not like you can
the Pro V1 or the Callaway, the Chromes,
the Chrome Soft, and
Nike ones, and the Strixons, and all that kind of stuff isn't going. It's not a magic elixir. It's not the magic pill.
No, just like buying a new set of clubs, you still got to do it. You still got to perform. You can't take any part of your equipment, whether it's your golf ball or your club, and put two good products near each other, lay them on the ground, and hope to play a better golf. You still have to be the performer in the deal. So,
how confusing, and how do you sift through the confusion created by companies like Bridgestone and Titleist that not only have the Pro V1, the Pro V1X, the difference between which I don't understand. And it's got to be minuscule. And then they've got, the Velocity and like 17 other brands or models, I guess, of Titleist golf balls. And, they have different price points, but are they just appealing to price point, or are they appealing to different game scenarios or different levels of competency? Bridgestone does the same thing, although with the E5, E6, and E7, they actually have this big diagram on the back of the box that tells you why you need an E5, an E6, or an E7.
Right, and so yes, on all accounts, that they're doing it demographically from a level of ability and style of play, and they're also doing it demographically by price at the same time. It's interesting how they managed to pull that off. So what I'm saying, there's a lot of technology out there that helps the companies make golf balls, and there's a lot of technology that we use as teachers to help teach the performance aspect of it. And there's also some technology out there that helps figure out which golf ball you're going to use.
Okay, well, let me ask you a quick question. Quick question before you get into the technology, because with technology comes math, and I've promised this audience there will be no math.
Right, that's the best part. Some of the technology is not math.
But you're a Titleist guy, right?
Yeah.
So can you explain the difference between like the Pro V1 at $49.99 a dozen and like the DT Solo at $29.99 a dozen?
Yeah, sure can. That was actually where I was headed for a second there.
Okay.
So, great. I'm glad you asked me. The first thing to do is if you don't have a golf professional on the radio like you do, or on your speed dial like you do, John, first thing, go to their website. There's some technology right there. Okay. Go to the internet. Take a look at what they do, because all these companies compare their golf balls and they tell you what it's good for and who it's good for right away.
Okay.
Every single company has it on their website. You could go to Titleist's website right now and click on golf balls, and then you could click on one. It'll tell you everything about it and who it's for and what's the best part about that golf ball and why it works for certain people's games.
Okay.
In the absence of the internet, which, it's 2015, so, we have it. But let's say you didn't have it.
Well, let's say we have our golf pro. Let's just ask him.
Yeah, right. Ask the guy.
Yeah, we have.
You know what? That's his job. Is go check it out and go look at the golf balls. Okay, so let's talk about like the average, the distance or the differences between the Pro V1X and the DT Solo.
Okay.
So let's take a look at the cover first off. The cover on the Pro V1X is soft.
Okay.
And it's thin, and it's got underneath that cover is a hard plastic. They call it a mantle layer, as in it's the next layer of golf ball down. So it's a sphere. It's around the core.
Mm-hmm.
But that one is a firmer sphere, okay? And a thin cover over that means that when you hit a ball hard, the whole thing compresses, and the center of the ball compresses a little, and that outer cover, that mantle layer, doesn't compress as much. But on those really soft shots around the greens, because of that firm underlisting, so to speak, that mantle layer that's under there, the cover's the only thing that compresses. You know, the thin white thing that you're touching all the time, the part of the ball you actually touch and see.
Right.
That's the part that's compressing. So it's compressing against something firm. And so that creates more spin.
Okay.
Okay. So now here
Which
we
can
are
be
looking at-
dangerous if you've got a bad head angle with your driver when you're teeing off.
But see, that's where I'm telling you, on the high speed things, the whole ball compresses a little bit because of the speed of the club come bashing into the golf ball. The whole ball compresses a little bit,
Right.
but not nearly as much because it's got that firm mantle layer there. So it reacts more like a firmer golf ball. So it
Okay.
doesn't spin so much off the tee. It's
Okay.
just around the greens.
I
when it's
gotcha.
the club's moving slowly.
When it's not hit with as much force. I got you. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And so then that's why it spins a lot on the short game shots.
Okay.
That's the cool part about the Pro V1X. Okay. Now let's go compare that to the DT Solo.
Yes, please.
All right. You've got in a DT Solo, you got the core of the golf ball, and the core of the golf ball there is actually a little bit firmer.
Okay.
And then you've got a thick cover, a white, the white dimply part that you see and touch. That's actually thicker. It's also made out of a whole different material that's not as soft to begin with.
Okay.
So you're talking about two completely different golf balls. Yes, they weigh the same, 1.62 ounces.
So you have just described the difference between a 2-piece and a 3-piece golf ball, have you not?
Well, actually, the Pro V1X is actually a 4-piece ball. They have a dual core thing. They got a rubber, round rubber ball in the middle, and they got another rubber ball, on top of it, and then they got that mantle layer I was talking about, and then the white cover.
Gotcha.
So that's a 4-piece.
4-piece. Okay.
But yeah, so I described, differences in parts there, but also components to it.
Right.
So you look at it and you're like, okay, some parts are firm and some parts are not. Now the DT Solo ball, they don't have to put as much technology into the extra layer and getting the right composition of firmness to the core and then the bigger core around it to have certain compression for what the high speed player is using, because the high speed swing players not using that DT Solo.
Right. Exactly.
Right, because they want something that feels better and gets a little bit more spin around the greens. So there's a big difference there.
Is there a point at which your ability needs to be before you can justify or benefit from using a high-end golf ball?
I would tell you, if I use the same qualification question, do you lose a lot of golf balls?
Okay, that would be the qualification. Okay, I didn't know
That's the way
if
I
you're
look at it as a teacher, because I'm so interested in your short game being better. I want you to use those really good golf balls around the greens as quickly as you can. But I
Right.
do understand the economics of it.
Yeah.
So if you're a golf ball losing freak who just can't seem to take a lesson to get his club face straight and hits it so far sideways, then in that case, use something that's white and round, because otherwise you'll just price yourself out of golf,
right,
by using the more expensive golf ball. But if you're a guy who's not losing a lot of golf balls, then go play a better ball, because it'll help you around the greens all the time.
Yeah.
I know you got a garage full of white round things,
yeah,
with dimples on them, but you don't have a garage full of good golf balls.
No, I
Right.
don't.
So
I have a few
would tell
golf
you-
courses full of good golf balls that used to be in my garage. But
So
Well,
I'm
what
going
can
to
I say?
recommend to you, John, because you're not losing a lot of golf balls anymore.
No.
I'd recommend to you that you donate your old golf balls that aren't the good ones to kids.
Mhm.
Let them start someplace. Give them
Yeah.
those golf balls. Everybody ought to do that.
Joseph has been taking bags of them home with him every weekend.
Good for Joseph.
Yes, and he also took home a red weekend golf guy's hat. He was like,
good
"How
for
come I don't have one of these?" I said, "I thought you did, buddy. You can get one too. Just go to the website, check it out. ThoseWeekendGolfGuys.com. We've got the hat and golf towel sets available with our nifty little logo on it. And again, want to reiterate: download our free app either from the Google Play Market for your Android device or from the App Store for your iPhone. You can listen to us at any time for free. And also follow us on Twitter. It is at WKND Golf Guys. Facebook.com/Golf Guys. I think I have covered everything.
We tweet, baby.
Don't lose any balls. Go have some fun. We'll see you next week. Bye.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-4030. That's 1-800-616-4030. Again, 1-800-616-4030. Call now.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-554-4183 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 800-554-4183 to take your call now. Call 800-554-4183. That's 800-554-4183. Again, 800-554-4183.